Kurds. Do you know much about them? No, I thought not, but that's okay. Their country is occupied by several powers. They are still brutalized. They're far more claim and right to a homeland than, say, the Palestinians, really, but their cause is largely ignored. Now, Süleyman Güven is my guest, a Kurdish activist. Would that be fair?
Yes, okay. And also a journalist.
Okay. You're from Turkey originally.
Yes.
So we should explain to people that the Kurds are a people with your own language and culture, and you live in several countries. But that would imply that several countries are actually occupying original Kurdistan. Is that true? That's
right, yeah. Kurdistan is divided between 4 local regimes, including Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Syria.
Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. So yes. four Islamic powers, 2 of them major powers, occupying Kurdistan.
Yes.
Why don't they get out?
They cannot. They have to deal with this problem. I mean, they have to overcome the Kurdish problem. I would say Kurdish problem is bleeding wound for Turkey.
Yes.
As long as Turkey doesn't solve this problem, it's there. I mean, it's huge effect on Turkey's political, economical, and social development.
How many Kurds are there in the world?
We roughly estimate that 40 million.
40
million.
Yeah. That's a large set. And how many live in the region of Kurdistan?
It's like we say 18 to 20 million in Turkey, 4 million in Iraq, 6 to 8 million in Iran, and 1.5 million in Syria, as well in Lebanon and former Soviet Union.
Right. Now, when Saddam Hussein was removed, Kurdistan, the Kurdish region of Iraq, you have control and you have some independence there. But in Turkey, and we've just seen that the Turkish army, vast army, and air force and artillery, they've gone into Kurdistan. But this happens all the time. I mean, Kurds are being killed, imprisoned, tortured in Turkey. What's it like being a Kurd in Turkey?
Well, I myself was persecuted, imprisoned, tortured, and this is not the first time in a Turkish military has gone over the border. This is 25th times.
25th.
Times they enter into northern Iraq. Recently, just following the PKK military unit in Çukurca.
We should explain that this is a Kurdish resistance group.
Yes,
yes. The Turks would call them terrorists, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, then following this military raid, it's Turkish leaders, including President, so pledged immense revenge in return, and that's why there's we can see that escalation of military operations.
Right.
Nationalism is on rise.
In Turkey,
and
yeah.
Yes, crackdown on human rights defenders, right. Kurdish politicians.
Well, let me ask you about that, because Kurdish leaders have been assassinated in Turkey. Just if people aren't following this, the Kurds are you're Muslim. You're a Muslim?
Yeah, but I belong to a different sect of Islam. I'm right. Kurdish Alevi.
Okay, and generally the Kurds are not part of fundamentalism generally. Well, was Saladin a Kurd?
Yes,
Kurd. One of the great heroes.
Yes.
But you live in this region, and the Turks have treated you very badly. In Iraq, the same, in Syria and Iran, but it's Turkey in particular where most Kurds live and where it seems to be most oppressive. So Kurdish leaders have been assassinated, arrested. There is it daily persecution? Are Kurds treated badly by the Turkish government on a daily basis?
Exactly. The Turkish government still denies the basic human rights to Kurds, yeah. Including some form of self-government or autonomy. That's why, even the Human Rights Watchers, reports that even the Kurds, ordinary Kurds who are to be in the vicinity of demonstrations, are being tried and put on trial, actually.
Why? Again, I think a lot of people watching will say, well, why is this happening? Most of you are Muslim. You're not Turkish, but you
yes.
live in Turkey.
Yes.
Why are the Turks treating you so badly?
Well, because what happens, this stems from the denial, they deny you, and then Kurds uprise. Kurds stand up for their rights.
Right.
When you do that, and then it's in return you see persecution, oppression, arrest, detention, and as you said, judicial, mystery killings happened in the past. Like 17,500, Kurds were actually brutally were disappeared or killed. Or
17,500 Kurds have just disappeared in Turkish society.
Yes.
Over what period? How long?
This is like particularly during the 90s, like when they declared, the Turkish government, declared like all full scale of war on Kurds around that time. Like
I want to ask you this because it's not to play down anyone else's struggle or suffering, but we hear endlessly about Palestinians.
Yes.
You have a different language, the Kurds,
yes,
from any other people. You're a substantial people, a lot of people. There are 4 Islamic countries in your nation, but those same countries are constantly condemning Israel. They can do what they want to do, but they don't look in their own house and say, well, look at the way we're treating the Kurds. I mean, it seems to be extraordinary.
Well, yeah, it's hypocritical for Prime Minister of Erdogan to constigate Israel for its ongoing occupation and the treatment of Palestinians, while Turkish government denies basic human rights to Kurds. So this is hypocritical. I mean, this hypocrisy must be stopped.
So what do you want? You want a nation taking part of Turkey, part of Syria, part of Iran, and the part of Iraq that you have now?
Well, that's it's for Kurds. Like it's too united, independent Kurdistan is kind of very difficult. It's kind of coming dream, because in every part, has own problems, and also the Kurds, that don't get along with each other. As we've seen in the past, like there were clashes between Iraqi and Turkish Kurds.
Right.
Of course, with the encouragement of the Turkish government, they had a fight with each other, and they don't have consensus actually on independent or united Kurdistan.
Oh, I see. So the region of Turkey that is Kurdish, do you want that to be autonomous within Turkey or a separate country itself? What are you looking for?
Well, Turkish Kurds, I don't know if you're following that, they actually declare this democratic, you call autonomy, like,
autonomy, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when they are saying like we should be given like our cultural rights, including mother tongue education. I mean, the life must be bilingual, in Kurdish area, and we need to, select our administrators or.
Are you allowed to speak Kurdish in school and university? Will you get jobs in Ankara if you speak Kurdish?
Well, it's difficult. I mean, there's also discrimination for sure. When you declare your identity or assert your rights, you get all kind of mistreatment. Yeah.
Ah, my golly! It's when people begin to realise how the world really works, and some of the governments who are the most outspoken condemning the West actually have the most to put right. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it.
A pleasure for me too. Thank you.
Later, people who spend way too much time carving pumpkins and what or who they have in their basement. Next, neurotics liberals and a few Christians declaring war on Halloween. Well, we fight back with broomsticks. Is Law Green's